to the person and re-award it, well, for us, we have nothing to say. But if after reviewing and you think that you have to, okay, then let the contract run. Let it run its term. So please, that is all I have for you. But sure, my tree is not too good, but I can let you about the tougher. It's impeccable. But yes, I can summarize it in three. All right, I'm lawyers for SML. Myself, name me Leonard Friend. My name is Cephas Boyo, actually. Yeah. Can say the documents response for SML on the termination directive, no akoma the presidency. Say omun shim. Say ye gidi pa say nyoma bi wo ho a omunye.
Every day at the Mankasim runabout, Abina Annan runs for survival. She chases cars with bags of fantikinki, hoping someone inside will roll down a window with a few CDs to spare. For her, hope once came in the form of a mining project, the Iwuya Lithium Project, and the thousands of indirect opportunities it promised. But today, that hope is slipping through her fingers.
I didn't for several brain because in Juma Bebre war, but work as an eye bebre. Yenyebi, because we are away to bear 4 years, 5 years, on your Juma here. And by main in Abim with fear, or being here on your schedule equal schooler, or fear. Maybe vacation young Coban, no, maybe a summon but said the major man bar. A bed of Bayana, Yahoba today. Obia on where school or on a set or about to that baby, about my fan, obeying my day. Why am I swinging scar at the road Boko school and I know the baby shop and now the baby business. Our Bob Wano over to my own.
Abena is not searching for a job in the mine. She's searching for everything the mine brings with it: workers, traffic, and demand. The lifeblood of informal businesses.
I saw Babam, there be a workers in Bifi, Kumase, Bifi Accra, Bifi Cape, Winiba, Pamanade. Oba Baye Jumana, Sabi Bedidi, in the Sanasuna age of Fancy Conoma, Oba Baba Toby, obeto bi oboguo wa tone fish na de onye bi onapa onye bi anu ayden we di all the mam so business no bokoso oluko ebia am off ana kedi holidays ana weekend okofia obetuma babeto bi odi no e fanya oh madam wo kenkene e fine so babeto bi akofia okwa no so obedi so be na mam so edwuma no ebekosoro mahana ayden ayehyehyehye.
But for 2 years since the lease was signed, Parliament has still not ratified the project, and in communities like Mankasim, the delay is choking the local economy before it even begins. For drivers like Gideon, when Atlantic Lithium began prospecting, his taxi rarely rested. Engineers, technicians, and local support staff kept him busy. Today, he's been loading for over an hour, and still no one is coming.
It was helping the youth and we the drivers as well. So they will come, oh, take us to our place, oh, take us to this place. Sometimes you'll be at the station for about 30 minutes, 1 hour. Just look at right now, I'm loading. Nobody is in. Yeah, so if, let's say, the company is around and their workers are many, you say, oh, take us to our area, then the youth will be, okay, leaving this place. Rather than traveling to somewhere, you don't get a place to sleep. All the time struggling as if you are a criminal or something like that. Meanwhile, you have family, you have a place to stay, and you'll be suffering somewhere else. Barrow, okay. One of my master, he was employed, and he even gave the car to someone to use it to work because he find out that the work is going to help him. At times, he told the driver that he should park it because the money he is bringing is not enough. So he should park the car, then he'll be working with the lithium people because he's gaining more than the car. Since they quit, he's using his car now. And sometimes he'll be saying they'll be coming back. So he's waiting for them. The
Ewoya lithium project was expected to anchor at least 2,700 indirect jobs: transport, food vendors, accommodation, construction, and commerce. But the delay in parliamentary approval has left those jobs suspended. Few meters away from the Mankasim roundabout, the ripple effect of the Ewoya lithium project was supposed to start here. In construction yards like Prince Labi's, mining brings people. People build homes, offices, staff quarters. And for a 20-year-old building supply business, that could mean a surge in demand. But the surge never came.
Such mining activities, when it does happen, attract other people from around the country and all those to the place where it's being mined, like where the activity is happening. Yes, and those people will be involved in building and yes, they will be involved in building a lot of stuffs. Yes, and through their building, they would have to come and buy building materials from this shop or this business. Yes, and so it was going to, I was happy because it was going to boost the sales over here.
For a company that trades in building materials, the pause in the Ewoya lithium project
MTN.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Where Duraplas goes, water flows.
PS Industries has introduced a new roofing system known as ColorLink Plus.
Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Syntax tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we were going to occupy them.
Good morning and welcome to Newsfile. This is your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, as always, we put Ghana first. A number of issues in the course of this week grabbing attention. We need to look at them surgically. Has the Miif lost 700 million Ghana cedis? And has its officers spent in excess of 13 million on foreign travels in only 1 year? And 11 million Ghana cedis of that amount spent on unapproved travels? The Auditor General's report, or the audit report in question, how reliable is it? And why is Miif breaking away from the gold-rich company for that project as the OSP investigates the CEO of that company? Wesley girls, whose rights should prevail? The church that set up the school and has been running it, or the minority non-Christians who are admitted to that school? Whose rights should prevail? One, both, or none? In Kpandai, a Tamale High Court has invalidated the 2024 parliamentary elections for that constituency. So Matthew Nyindam, as we speak, is deemed not to be the validly elected member of parliament for that constituency, at least after the expiration of the statutory 7 days stay of execution of a judgment. The Speaker says, well, 1st of December, he will cease to be the MP. The court has ordered a rerun in 30 days. Will that happen in the face of his appeal and application to stay execution of the judgment? Theo Marking appears to override that decision.
The judiciary must know that their actions and inactions to serve the interests of whoever their paymaster is has the tendency of destroying our peaceful republic. We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of courts. We are criticizing their shameful conduct.
He is already facing contempt proceedings in Parliament. Double contempt, potentially? Well, he's not afraid of prison. We'll be right back to deal with the vexed matters.
has been searching for happiness for years. So we asked locals to point him to the source of their happiness. Until one fateful night, when his search finally came to an abrupt end. Find your happy place with GoTV. Get GoTV to enjoy a wide range of shows for the whole family. GoTV. Love it.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden product that will last a lifetime. With Fernart Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernart, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernart Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernart.
The future of mobility is green, and it's happening right here in Africa. Join us in Ghana at the Elisa Hotel this December 3rd and 4th, 2025 for the second edition of the ERA E-Mobility Conference, Electric Vehicle Revolution Africa, under the powerful theme, Clean Green Investment. ERA 2025 brings together visionaries, investors, policymakers, and innovators from across the continent and beyond. Experience 2 unforgettable days of insight, collaboration, and impact, featuring a high-level conference, an interactive exhibition, and a dynamic EV test drive experience. Explore technologies, sustainable energy solutions, and green finance opportunities driving Africa's e-mobility transformation. Network with changemakers, explore real investment opportunities, and discover what's next in the electric revolution. Save the date, December 3rd and 4th, 2025. Visit www.eramobilityconference.com to register now.
Welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. Today I had a take to do, but I want to shelve it and deal with these issues. But next week, God willing, I will deal with that take. And it has to do with the misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech and publication of other information bill. You know, the Communications Ministry is sponsoring as many as 15 different legislations to be passed in Parliament. And one of them that should get all of us our attention is the misinformation bill. There's something good to say about it. Something really very good to say about it. That we are in a digital era where there is so much irresponsibility on social media and so on, that we need to take care of. Yes, the bill, for example, if it is passed, some people's accounts will be taken down. Well, when national security is threatened, some action ought to be taken. But whilst this bill, and as very typical of us, including some of my own colleagues, I've heard them speak on this bill, and I can tell after reading all of the sections, the 90 sections of the bill, that many of them have not read it. Many of them have not read it. Just ignorance being spewed out there. It's like the man who was on the street doing a demonstration against and asking that the special prosecutor's office should be collapsed. I'm like, really? He says he's an apostle. He doesn't have followers. Serious. Calling for the collapse of this entity. If you have a problem with somebody there, that's fine. But do you know what that office represents? I can guarantee you no attorney general will be able to prosecute their own. They can't do it. I've spoken to former attorneys general, and some of them tell me to my face, how do you expect me to prosecute the man I sit in cabinet with? Imagine looking that Godfrey Dame will prosecute Ken Ofori-Atta. Really? It will not happen. And guess what? Now we are losing in excess of $5 billion every year to corruption. That's according to those who give us the money. And we need an independent entity to fight the corruption. Well, I know enough to know that that particular office is being fought left, right, center by the people who stand to benefit if it is collapsed. I'm not talking about those who are raising genuine criticism like Manasseh Azure and co. Those who, what kind of ignorance should I call it? Bouvain, say collapse it. I don't think John Mahama will want to preside over that. It should never happen. Okay? Too much false propaganda. Now, when people deal with so much falsehood and things, we need to take care of it. But to use such a bill, a law, to literally take away our constitutional and God-given rights to speak and that of the media should never be tolerated. There's one thing really good about that bill, and those who are reading it don't seem to have read up to that point, even if they are reading it. Because the bill is supposed to repeal the infamous Section 208 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act, the Fear and Alarm Law, which puts you in jail up to 3 years for publication of false news and rumor. We have campaigned for this particular legislation, repressive legislation, to be done away with since criminal libel law was removed in 2001. Then in 2008, the Electronic Communications Act also brought in a similar kind of legislation and even enhanced the punishment if you dealt in false information to punish you for up to 5 years in jail. This legislation is removing all of that. Have you seen it? Please take your time and read it. But you see, whilst that legislation is doing that, it's using the back door to bring back criminal libel in the most monstrous way. And it has to be resisted. So, I'll deal with my take on this subject next week. This was just to pique your interest. So thank you very much. I'll take a break, return to introduce my guests, and then we will find out if a Muslim child should be going to Wesley girls and have the opportunity to fast and pray. And then we will also check if at Miif, as much as 700 million Ghana cedis was lost or has been lost, and for only foreign travels in excess of 13 million 1 year, 13 million Ghana cedis has been spent, and 11 million of it without approval. Kpandai will check if the minority leader will constitute himself into a court of appeal or call it a Supreme Court to override that decision, because he has announced to the constituents that Matthew Nyindam remains their MP, and no shameful judge, no shameful judiciary who are doing the bidding of their paymasters can overturn that decision. We'll be right back.
No matter matter where we wander, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, together with clients like Gensa Energy and Goldfields, is driving sustainable growth.
The transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy is quite imperative for the growth of a continent that we call home.
We want to contribute to delivering affordable gas for industrialization in Africa.
Stanbic is a bank that is focused on impacting lives, and Gensa has the same vision and mission.
Having a reliable source of power has helped our business and our operations in a significant way.
At Stanbic Bank, we bring businesses together, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, driving growth, creating impact.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
From the heart of Ghana comes elegance that endures. Gold Ball Jewelry crafts world-class jewelry from the finest gold, diamonds, and precious minerals. Gold Ball Jewelry designed to celebrate your milestones, your style, your legacy. Gold Ball Jewelry, pure, precious, proudly Ghanaian. Visit our showroom or shop online.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACT gives me peace of mind.
ACT didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
skincare you deserve. Dream.
Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Poly challenge we did.
Polytank, Apano, Asta.
Do you often feel pain or discomfort in your abdomen? Struggling with constant heartburn, hernias, or gallbladder problems that slow you down? You may require a laparoscopic surgery for any of these conditions. At the Bank Hospital, we offer laparoscopic surgery, a modern and minimally invasive procedure that provides smaller cuts, less pain, and faster recovery. Choose advanced technology, skilled specialists, and compassionate care. Visit the Bank Hospital today.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here in Newsfile, we put Ghana first. My guest in the studio right away, Susan Eduamankwa, Executive Secretary, National Interest Movement, MIM. Godfred Bokwing is Professor of Finance and Economist at the University of Ghana. Andre Japamesa in the middle is lawyer and former MP for 2nd D. He was a minister in 2 different portfolios in the previous regime. Inusa Fuseni, former MP Tamale Central and foreign minister, also in 2 different portfolios in the First Mahama and Males administrations, right? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Newsfile.
Morning. Good morning. Thank you.
Great.
Good morning to our cherished listeners and viewers.
Right. Your cherished listeners and viewers have missed you.
So I'm here, finally.
Yes.
He's been TV3 a lot lately. He was caught in the middle.
All right, so let's get to this very first and dicey issue as we understand. As you know by now, there is a suit at the Supreme Court. It's a suit that was filed last year. And the issue has now come up for attention, perhaps because the Attorney General filed its submissions in support of Wesley girls. That they are sort of entitled to maintain their religious identity as a school. That is also the issue that those who filed the suit in the Supreme Court are unhappy about. So on the 23rd of December 2024, someone by name Shafiq Osman filed a suit against the Wesley Girls High School, their board, and also against the Attorney General. The Attorney General is a constant, what we call nominal defendant in such public interest matters. Then, on the 24th of November 2025, this month, the Attorney General files his submissions to back Wesley Girls. That is to say, to oppose what the plaintiff is asking for, which is normal of us lawyers. When the plaintiff comes, the defendant comes, and you go and oppose the defendant. We hardly go to court and say, oh, the defendant is right, so give them what they are asking for. If that is the case, then we don't go to court in the first place. So Attorney General files to say, hell no, what you're saying is wrong, we will not agree. Wesley Girls have the right to maintain their religious identity as a school, as a Christian school. Then that gets out in the public and begins to stoke the fire. The Supreme Court, on the 25th of this month, directed Wesley Girls to also file if they want to file something to this suit. The Democracy Hub have also gone to join this suit as what we call a friend of the court, amicus curiae. And they have also been given the opportunity to file something in that regard. What is Shafiq Osman asking for? Ban on Muslim practice in the school is unconstitutional. And by effect, if the Supreme Court holds in their favor, it will have a cascading effect. It means all mission schools, so-called, must comply if they are not complying. Forced Methodist worship is unlawful. And there should be the creation of a school religion guidelines to make sure things are tidier. Religious limits discriminate against Muslims. The Attorney General filed this argument and says Wesley Girls is not state-owned. It's state-supported, assisted, and that the school retains the right to religious identity. State's funding does not override their freedoms, that they too have freedoms. According to the Constitution, they have the right. So, you have seen the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the Christian Council, the Methodists have all issued statements, and they are saying that they have a right to preserve the Christian identity. Attendance to the school is voluntary. You are not forced to choose to come to that school. Unified culture ensures excellence, and that the Constitution also protects mission autonomy. But this is where we are, and we are told that if we are not careful, we are plunging this country into a certain state. Let me go to my guests now. Let me begin with Professor Bokwi.
Yes, good morning.
You talk a lot of finance. Let's hear how the financial implications affect our religious rights.
It's good you issue this caveat for me. So good morning to our cherished listeners and my senior colleagues here. So this is a very dicey issue. Let me start off by saying that I wish we had not adopted this approach to resolve this through the law courts. Because matters of religion and the role of the state and its organs in trying to resolve conflict or something, if it is not managed carefully, it could degenerate into all kinds of things. So, something I want to look at this from 4 different angles.
Okay.
Permit me. The first one is the state partnership with the mission schools and the principle of ownership. I think if you look at the dynamics and what I've also followed, it looks as though the state coming in equates to ownership or confiscation of mission schools. That has to be established. I gather from other stakeholders that to the extent that you are getting funding from the state, support compromises your identity, sort of, and your ability to enforce your internal rules and all of that. I disagree with that. My considered view is that we should be moving towards a partnership between the state and private sector, whether religious bodies or whatever, that allows the state to promote development and still allow private entities with their interest to be promoted. Overall, it benefits the state. Why am I saying this? And of course, I'm saying this also bearing in mind that I understand where my Muslim brothers are coming from, right? And then I also share my experience, what I've also encountered over the years. Some decades ago, certain religious bodies and their push towards formal education was limited. That belief equally influenced how they made their investment. there were other religious bodies that felt that the way to go was education. And the way to propagate their faith and the sustainability of their model is that they will set up schools, not only schools, but hospitals, so many other interventions as a way of promoting their faith, which the Constitution allows. You will notice, and here I will commend my Muslim brothers, that there is a certain uptick of higher education, pursuit of higher education, which is very good, especially for the girl child. Especially for the girl child. And I think that is very commendable. And if you look at the approach now compared to other predominantly dominated Muslim countries, and what we hear and all of that in terms of girl child education or access to Western education, I think we have come a long way, and I think that is very commendable. To that extent, if the approach now is that with this realization, we must now have our right in these mission schools, that is going to be problematic. It's going to be problematic because the mission schools were founded for a purpose. They have invested. They had options, but they chose to invest in this way. The state realized that it could not provide educational facilities based on its own budget. And therefore, the state's approach is to go into partnership in the delivery of education services and all of that. The principle of that partnership must be upheld to encourage private sector participation in the delivery of public services. And I'll give you a couple of examples, and where perhaps some people would think that we are majoring on the minor right now. As we speak right now, the educational facilities are overcrowded. Look, you go to the school, some are sleeping on the floor. In the classroom, some have chairs, they don't have a table. Others have tables, they don't have chairs. There is the need for investment. You will see currently, this year, that recognizing this deficit, the Ministry of Education, beyond mission schools, is partnering with other private senior high schools to absorb excess students simply because of also the free senior high school. Would that change the identity of these schools as well? The answer should be no. State assistance should not equate confiscation. That would undermine the need to crowd in private sector investment. We need to be very clear on that. And where there are perceived conflict, what should be the role of the state? The role of the state and its organs should not be to take side in religious matters like this. That would be my prescription. I'm not a lawyer, forgive me. I hope I'm not going too much into this.
Is that your suggestion, therefore, that when they file the suit, the Attorney General and the law should file his arguments, he should rather stay back and not file anything?
The state should uphold the principle underlining the partnership between government and mission schools. Not only Christian mission schools across the board. That is what the state should be interested in, and that is where I commend the Attorney General, that state funding does not equate confiscation or ownership. That the mission schools retain their original identity and all of that. I think that is, for me, that is commendable. The reason this is important is that this should encourage, provide incentive for other religious bodies to equally what? Invest, to complement government efforts. And then on the issue of discrimination, I do not think that these mission schools actually check the faith of people before they admit them. Their doors are open to everyone. And I believe that if you interact with people, there are those who don't care. Their children can go to a Muslim mission school or a Christian mission school. Others don't care. That's not an issue for them, to the extent that they are getting quality. Others who are very particular. Those who are very particular and all of that, there are options. There are options. And I think that survival that is based on options is far better. Look, any attempt, and it will be suboptimal, any attempt to weaken the strong in order to strengthen the weak will be problematic.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
What I'm saying is that
an attempt to weaken the strong in order to
strengthen the weak or the minority will be problematic. So the way you solve that is the state will invest in quality education comparable to mission schools. That is a way out.
But the state can't match mission schools. Because mission schools, there's the infant swim and the rest. How many years are they? So which government school?
Yeah, no, so something
150 years.
Yeah, something. This is where we must demonstrate.
So the missions apparently.
That is what I'm talking about. The strength.
Started the school before the state.
That is something. That's the reason why I'm talking about any attempt to weaken the strong, to bring them down, in order to strengthen the weak will be problematic.
What is bringing down or weakening?
No, wait.
Simply by, and I use simply advisedly. I know this issue is very, very contentious. Simply by allowing or liberalizing your environment,
you are diluting
to allow other faiths to express themselves.
It is not the state to prescribe how mission schools should pursue their faith.
Oh, that's your point.
That's my point. In a country like Ghana where we have different religious groups, look, there are others who believe that their faith requires that they don't wear any slippers. They walk barefooted. I hope you understand that. Because every place is a holy ground. There are different interests and all of that. And to the extent that, so the state's failure over the decades,
the point you just made got me, searching for a provision in my constitution. In the Directive Principles of State Policy in Chapter 6 of the Constitution, I'm looking at Article 63, 36, Article 37, Clause 1. It says the state shall endeavor to secure and protect a social order founded on the ideals and principles of freedom, equality, justice, probity, and accountability.
I'm not a lawyer.
It doesn't actually stop there.
I believe that we need to look at
justice and accountability as enshrined in Chapter 5 of this Constitution, and in particular, the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring that every citizen has equality of rights, obligations, and opportunities before the law. Equality of rights, obligations, and opportunities before the law.
As I indicated, I'm an economist. I understand GDP and the rest. But of course, I also have some experience in this space. If we look at it in totality, where the state grants space for mission schools to operate, and the practice that we have ensured over the decades, where the state partners with mission schools and all of that. Look, and no religious body will give up its right over its mission schools. They won't. And let me tell you where the dynamics are also. If you interact, you will see that whether it is Muslim mission schools or Christian mission schools, it is very difficult for any other religion to have their right fully exercised. That is the case. And I believe that we should be moving towards the unity that recognizes this diversity. And we should be promoting the tolerance that recognizes each other's safe space to operate. And as the state provides support across the board, I think that will be more sustainable because you see based on my own experience, in a Muslim mission school, the Orthodox Muslims sometimes even find it a bit uncomfortable because of differences in teaching. When they attend Ahmadi's mission school.
Because the Ahmadis have set up schools.
Because they have set up schools. Because they believe in Western education. They have set up schools.
So the Orthodox originally didn't believe in this kind of education.
I believe that they have realized that. Yeah. That's why I commended them. That especially for the girl child, this is a momentum shift from the way we've seen it in the time past and also other countries. And that is very good. I go to class and I see Muslim students and I'm very intelligent. Ladies, very intelligent. That is good. This late realization should not grant anyone the right to weaken mission schools for the investment they have made over the years
to
propagate their faith.
Ejapa, I'm trying to understand where Professor Bokpeng is coming from. That liberalizing, so to speak, in this context, allowing Muslims to express their faith in a Christian, moduled, established school will weaken the strong in order to strengthen the weak. I don't get it.
Let me say good morning to my co-panelists and, of course, those who have who are spending time to watch and listen to us this morning, our cherished viewers and listeners. Samson, indeed, I have a bit of a limitation in the sense that we haven't heard from Wesley girls and seen their response to the writ that has been filed at the Supreme Court. And so it poses a little bit of a problem.
We have heard from the Methodist bishops, Methodist Church.
I was going to come
there. We have heard from the Catholic bishops and the Christian Council.
Yes.
That exactly is the position of the Wesley girls. The Ghana Pentecostal Council.
No issues at all, but at least let them file their formal process. Then we will know, indeed, how and where the chips will fall.
But this is not the first time this is coming up.
Yeah, I know. Really, why is this even coming up? Has been my posture since Monday or Tuesday when this came up. I went to a Christian school. I went to Adisada College, fully owned by the Anglican Church. There were Muslims in Adisada. There were no issues. We go to church Sunday evening together. It's compulsory. All of us attend. When Ramadan time was due, they made provision for them to fast, and they had their breakfast, lunch, supper at the same time in the evening. In fact, they made provision for them to eat even before sunrise. There are no issues. We've coexisted peacefully in our secondary school days with Muslims and Christians without any fuss. So really, what's the issue? That's why I'm saying that it will be good for us to see the defense that Wesley girls will file. Yes, I've read the statement that was issued by the Christian Council and the Catholic Bishops Conference. I've read the statement that was issued by the Anglican province of the Church of West Africa, signed by the Archbishop. I've seen what the Catholic laity have issued, and also read the statement from the Muslim Council. Really, in my view, there's a lot of much ado about nothing, especially with my own background and experience that I had.
Much ado about nothing. You can't wish the controversy away.
No, I agree. And so for example, is it the case that Wesley girls is actually preventing girls from praying when they are in school? Is it the case? That's the allegation. I haven't seen their defense. And the Christian Council statement really doesn't go to confirm that they are prevented from exercising their faith. Is it the case that during Ramadan they are prevented from fasting? Wesley girls have to come and tell us that when you attend Wesley girls and you elect not to eat within a certain period of the year, the school will prevent you from doing so. I'm not so sure whether that is actually what pertains on the ground. I'm sure there have been Muslims who have attended Wesley girls in the past, Why are they not speaking? Why are they not telling us what their experience at Wesley Girls was? Okay, is it the case that it's the hijab, okay, that they think that of necessity they have to wear it and the school is preventing them?
There's a political campaign promise that will be done away with. The prohibition of that will not be tolerated in
that was
school.
The next question I was going to read. The role of politicians in this matter.
And
what they promise.
And you need to be bold to name the political party that made the promise.
Of course, it was the NDC.
Because I'm not sure that the NPP made any. It
was the NDC.
So
I don't remember hearing the NPP if they made it too.
So why is the president not speaking? What's his own take on the brouhaha that has been generated by
the Attorney General has filed a motion
which
to be allowed to withdraw this argument that he has filed in the courts to present another argument. We don't know if that argument will be a fortification of the first or it will be a backtracking.
So, but of course, this position, right, is inconsistent with their campaign promise that you're bringing to my attention.
Completely opposite.
So I suspect that they probably will be withdrawing to file another statement of case that will reflect their campaign promise. In that case, then maybe the view that Professor Bokpin is expressing, that seeking to weaken the strong to enhance the weak, okay, then becomes an issue. I will still insist that because of my own limitation with respect to, and something I say so because you know how we operate. The church may have issued a statement saying one thing, and the process that they will file may reflect something else. And so let's wait and see what Wesley Girls, within the next 14 days or so that the court gave them, will file. And then we can better interrogate the issues. But if politicians have made commitments, then they ought to bear their cross. Insisting that girls should wear hijab in Wesley Girls when the school's own faith doesn't permit it would be a clash between the school exercising their own rights.
Let me hear from Susan, but before I do so, there's an old girl who sends a message. It's quite a bit, but I think I should read all of it for some perspective. And this Abena, and she says, I'm sharing this as an old girl of Wesley Girls High School and as a Christian. This is my personal opinion. If you understand mission schools, they are like an extension of the church. Like most Catholic schools, they are attached to a church. Like Christ the King, Mary Mother of Good Counsel, Presbyterian schools, almost all are attached to churches. The word mission is linked to the evangelization call for Christians. Christianity is an exclusive religion, unlike New Age, for instance, that permits Islam. That permits multiple deities or gods. Christianity preaches one God. Can you imagine in the church building having the presence of another God manifest? Even in African traditional religion, I don't think if you approach a fetish, you can bring another God into their presence. Please let us not mix constitutional rights and practices of religion. How do you know perhaps allowing the worship of another God in the premises will affect the functioning of the school? Because this is a matter of faith. Faith is a big deal and practicing it has ramifications. Otherwise, why do we bother with faith and religion? Wesley Girls has been under a lot of pressure and the quality of the school is under siege. Please, our Muslim friends, let's not get confused. The state needs to sit up and sort out the issue of education. Yes. Because the government has done abysmally in the last 20 years. Yeah. Wesley Girls is not a government school.
And something.
Yes,
the
Susan.
failure of the state to do the right thing, mission school should not pay the price for it.
I'm still trying to appreciate your point. Yes,
Okay,
Susan.
so I went to a mission school, and so I want to give my practical, like Abner said, the mission schools were set up to help to propagate the faith, okay? They were set up to extend your faith. In fact, when I was in Christ the King, when primary school, when it came to common entrance, if you were Catholic, you were encouraged to pick the Catholic schools. So you were encouraged to pick the Holy Child's, the St. Mary's, the St. Rose's, etc. You understand? They would always encourage Catholics to pick Catholic schools as a first choice before picking any other choice. You understand? So that you could still continue to grow in your faith. So the mission schools were set up for a particular purpose. Now, the state comes in and says that you have more coverage, you have excellence, you have a certain ethos where people coming out of your school have certain values and principles. And it's not just about academic excellence, it's about a holistic education. So in my responsibility to ensure that there is the growth of my people, I will partner you so that you can help me in this responsibility. It's not a takeover. You understand? It's not a takeover by the states. And I think we all need to recognize that. As I said, I went to Holy Child. If you were a non-Catholic, you were entitled to pray. The Protestants, they could use the assembly hall to have the same. They could even use the Catholic chapel after we had this up. If you were a Muslim, you could find a quiet room. There were quiet rooms. There was a music room or something, or you could pray by your bed. Nobody was going to interfere with that. As long as your practice of your faith did not interfere with school rules. Look, I as a Catholic child, I can't decide that prep time I will be in the chapel. I will be punished. Because prep time, I'm supposed to be in the classroom, not in the chapel. I can't say that this is a Catholic school, so prep time, I want to be in the chapel to pray. It won't happen. You will be punished. You understand? You are supposed to be at a particular place at a particular time. That was the discipline. It wasn't willy-nilly. Yes, we can pray. You understand? If you are not supposed to be somewhere at a particular time, you are not supposed to be there. You see, so there was no discrimination because as a Catholic child, I couldn't just walk into the chapel willy-nilly and say that I'm praying when my friends are in the classroom or in the dining room. Catholics also have a fasting period, a 40-day fasting period. They don't encourage adolescents to fast, given that we do all sorts of activities, etc.
That's true.
But if you said you were going to fast, nobody was going to force feed you. We had supper at 5:30.
They don't encourage adolescents and security people in the security services.
Okay.
Once they are on duty
to fast. I understand. But if you said you were going to fast, you understand, and you were going to break your fast at 6 o'clock, we had supper at 5:30. If you like, sit there, but be physically present because dining is compulsory. And decide to wait till 6 o'clock before you eat your food. Nobody is going to have any problems with that. As long as by 6:45, you were in the classroom for prep. You understand? So there were means and means of practicing your faith. But you can't say that at 3 o'clock, the Muslims have a 3 o'clock prayer. At 3 o'clock, we are sitting in the classroom studying. But as for me, I'm going to leave and go and pray. It won't happen. You understand? So you can't say I'm being discriminated. It doesn't happen in the no, but even so, it won't happen, But if it was a school program.
It depends on what.
You understand? The school program, let's say, on Wednesdays, we all had to be in the chapel. You can't sit in the dorm and say that I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to the chapel. It was a school program. We had to be there. The fact that you are sitting in a chapel does not mean that you are practicing my faith. Even Catholics themselves who sit in the chapel does not necessarily mean that they are present. They are physically present, but their minds are probably somewhere. Haven't you heard in the Catholic Church where they say that communion is for practicing Catholics? So that means even within the Catholics, they are differentiating to say that communion is for practicing Catholics. That means there are Catholics who are there in name. The fact that you go and sit in the chapel as part of the school program and the discipline does not mean somebody is forcing their religion on you.
I saw you annotating
you understand?
the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference.
I would have something to,
you have a number of statements
to say. But so when they say that they are forcing them to practice Methodism or they are forcing them to practice Catholic, it doesn't mean that. It just means that be fiscally present. This is where we are all supposed to be at this time. You are there. It's a discipline. And I don't think it is haram. Because if it was haram, I don't think the chief imam would have gone to celebrate his birthday in the Catholic Church. You understand?
You spoke about the regime there where the Protestants, the non-Catholics, are also able to go through their worship. They are able to use the chapel to do that?
Yes.
So, as for the Muslim, they should find any place and do that?
Because they won't do it.
How about getting in the mosque?
That's in a Catholic school, seriously. We don't have a Protestant church in the Catholic school. They can just use the assembly hall if they wanted to, you understand? Or they could use the chapel if they wanted to, you understand? But I don't think the Muslims wanted to go and use the church, you understand? That doesn't happen. You get it. But we are not going to build mosques on our schools because we have an identity. Like I said, the mission schools were not built to be secular.
Your mission schools are now assisted schools.
They are assisted schools, but
the taxpayer is funding them partly.
So do we want...
Taxpayer, you don't discriminate the money where it is coming from. Whether it's coming from a Muslim or non-Muslim.
So no, but then we are pushing to that place where we are looking for a polarization, where I will say that if you are coming to my school, bring your baptismal card, and that the mission schools should revert if they want to have the property to say that this partnership is not working.
If the mission school is for evangelization, it's an extension of the church.
Exactly.
Then, like Paul did, he said when he got to the Jews, he behaved like one and so on. Why don't you rather attract these people with the mindset of seeking to evangelize?
Let me
Why do you want to in terms of admission. They don't check their background.
But when we even talk about
Buddhists, they've admitted Muslims,
but even so, when we talk about evangelization, it is not necessarily having to go and bring people from other faiths there. There are Catholics who are in danger of losing their faith. We will start with them. You understand? Look, I mean, people talk about, sometimes they say, from the time I was young, the Catholic faith is shrinking. Do you know what one Jesuit priest said to me? He says, don't believe that. And even if it is shrinking, it is being left with the people who know their faith and understand their faith.
Right.
And it will stay strong. So I'm not worried about...
The Catholics emphasize on the Catholic social teachings.
Yeah.
So there can be a lot that will be done in a Catholic setting, which is not exactly like picking a Bible and worshiping and so on. Catholic social teachings, which the Catholics believe it is important to them to forming an individual to be a person of integrity, be a person who fears God and so on.
I have a story on that. You know, when I was younger in school, we had this organization. It's called YCS, Young Christian Students. Outside Africa and everything, it's called Young Catholic Students, IYCS, International Young Catholic Students. But we called it Young Christian Students. And we met every year at a congress. Now, some of the schools in the north came, and our mantra was conscientization of people so that they can grow to their potential. And we believed in social justice. So we said, see, judge, act, reflect, act again. And we believed in conscientization and social justice. So we went out...
Reflect and...
See, judge, act, reflect, act again. And that was it. So you saw a situation, you made a judgment, you act, you reflected on your action, and you acted again. And it was about social justice, to see things in this thing. You know, when they came for the Congress, and we were asking about the projects that they did, and they were mentioning their names at the interview. We were like, but these names don't sound very Christians. And they said, yes, we're Muslim students. And we're like, you are in YCS. They said, because we understand conscientization of people. We understand what social justice means. We believe in see, judge, act, reflect, act again. It had nothing to do with saying an Hail Mary or not. They could identify with the values.
Are we digressing from the subject?
Okay, so let me say something. The Catholic, the mission, the same.
Schools.
The mission schools. Not just the mission schools, but it is health care, you understand? And in various other social services. Does the government want to partner with people? Because it is making it look as if the missions have done a deal with the devil, and now it is coming back to bite them. When they had openly opened their heart to say that everybody deserves a good education. Everybody deserves to be holistically educated. And so
they are simply saying, don't impose your ways on me. Don't restrict me from exercising
but nobody restricts them from exercising it. I will be hard pressed to say that don't pray. And that when in the time that you are allowed to pray,
you said a while ago, because a Muslim will have to observe 5 times of prayer at specific periods.
Yeah.
And because you are in the school community, you can't allow that.
No, but you see, there has to be order. That is why we had those boarding schools to teach us certain things. Boarding schools were not for just parents to go throw us there, but for us to have a certain outlook in life. One, in boarding schools, we learned to live together, different tribes. I mean, in Holy Child, there were some people that, it was only after in Holy Child that I realized that they were probably Gans or others, especially if you had a name like Mensa. Because there, we all spoke Fanti or English. You understand? People were in Fanti land, we spoke Fanti. We didn't, and that was the reason. And another thing was to also socialize people. You understand? We went there at 10, 11, 12 years. These days, they are going at 16. They're already socialized already.
Remember, Yunus Afuseni is one of our guests on the show. And once I am done talking to Yunus Afuseni, I will bring on someone else who will take us to the 1987 Education Ordinance. The 1987 Education Ordinance. Some people say...
I mean 1897.
This is 1887. Some people say this is what began everything. There's a section 7 of that ordinance that directs religious teachings shall not form part of the instructions to be given in any government school.
They're not government schools.
Section 8. Assisted schools shall, on being allowed by the Board of Education, be enabled to receive aid from public funds of the colony on the following conditions. Condition number 1, that the school be open to children without distinction of religion or race.
Which happens?
That no child receive religious instructions objected to by the parent or guardian of such a child, or be present when such instruction is given. If you speak to, and some of my Muslim friends have gotten in touch with me, Hamida, he said, yes, I went to a mission school. I attended all the church service, but the point they are making is that, why do you make me attend your church service? That's seeking to push on me what I don't want, right? But we'll get there. Yunus Afuseni, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. What's the haram about the Attorney General's, arguments before the court, which we now understand he intends to withdraw and replace? We don't know if the replacement is going to change what he has done now, which he simply says their sister schools are not government-owned. They are mission schools. They should be allowed to maintain their religious identity.
Yeah, so I think that basically, let me try to correct some distortions that some of our panelists have spoken about. First of all, it was not a matter of choice that some schools decided to invest, or some religions decided to invest in education and others did not. It was not a matter of choice. The education that we have is tied to our colonial legacy. The first university in Africa was built by Muslims in Mali, the first university. Now, education, Islamic education came into Ghana, Gold Coast, long before Western education, long before Western education. And so it is not by choice, it's by arrangement, it's by the historical arrangement of our colonization, where some kind of knowledge is not recognized within our setup, our state. So that is, we must understand that. And the Muslims did not delay in educating their children, no. They only educated their children on the Quran and the Hadith. That is not required for a secular country like ours. That's what we must understand. Two, this problem that we are faced with, sometimes I sit down and ask myself, like Mesa said, what is it about? What are we talking about? I come from a family that has Christians and Muslims.
Maybe.
We've never had difficulty in relating to each other. Never. And like Susan, I attended, or is it Sandra? I attended a Catholic school. I was a member of the CYO, Catholic Youth Organization.
There you go.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
And so I simply do not see what we are talking about. Thirdly,
honest.
The mission schools, just like has been said on the platform, were set up on an evangelization mission.
Precisely.
And so they will maintain their character and identity in as long as they remain mission schools. Some of them have loosened the control over those schools. So you can find mission schools or schools built by missionaries, which today have mosques and Muslims practicing freely on their various campuses. You can have them. You can find them. In Ghana, all over the place, you can find them. So let's understand one thing. I went to school from P1 up to secondary school from 5, even up to training college, reciting the Lord's Prayer and singing Christian hymns.
This is the beauty of it.
So has that changed me into a Christian?
Yes.
Professor Bopin says what you just said is the beauty of it, but did you do that willingly? Did your parents approve of it? What is the argument now? Why are we in court?
So you see, and some said, I don't know which primary school whether you attended public school, a public school. I attended Chogu Primary School, which was a government school. And at assemblies, I recited the Lord's Prayer.
Correct. I also attended a public school. I attended a public school and we recited the Lord's Prayer.
You never found, even in that public school at Chogu Primary School, they recruited a Muslim teacher to come teach us how to pray in Islam. And we had a Catholic father or a reverend who came to take students through the Christian faith. There was no problem. There was no problem. So I think these are fault lines. And when I heard
what's the problem now? Yes, go there. When you heard of the suits.
There are fault lines. These are fault lines that we must guard carefully. Yes. And religion evokes passions of people. And because religion evokes passions, it can lead to undesirable consequences.
Yeah, so when you heard of the suit, what did you think?
So when I heard of the suit, I said, why will Shafiq sue the Wesley, what is it?
Girls.
Wesley College, Wesley Girls, to ensure that their school is run like a secular school? Why didn't he get opinion leaders within the Muslim community to engage the administration of Wesley Girls to see how they could arrive at a compromise and allow the people to observe their faith?
Continue to engage.
Because it can be done. It's done. So in St. Joseph's, at St. Joseph's, anytime that the Christians and Catholics were praying on campus, we were allowed to go into our different faiths and worship. But only that on 4th November, I will attend the All Saints' Day, whether I like it or not, at the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Now you are saying he should leave it to this discretionary, dictates. But perhaps his feeling is that this matter has come up over and again, and there has not been this, a resolution that is permanent. So let's get the Supreme Court to hold on it so that we all know where we belong.
My fear is that when you apply the strict dictates of law in solving a social problem which has religious underpinnings, you risk further fracturing society. That's my fear.
Okay.
And so there ought to be a way that you can engender social engineering, like a social cohesion of this country, like what you read in Article 37 of the Constitution, to ensure that the balance is held, even if loosely, between the various faiths. But to turn it to court for the court to determine whichever way is going to have repercussions.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hold on there. Let me go to the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak. We have been here before when, Muslim clerics, I remember Sheikh Aremiyao and the rest of them come together and go to a particular school and say, you cannot be doing this. Muslim ladies are in the hospitals, nurses, they cannot, dress the way they have to. And these matters have come up, and it's resulted in the NDC actually making it a campaign issue that will not be allowed. I remember, I'm sure I heard President Mahama particularly speak directly to that issue, that it will not be allowed. Now, Muntaka, what do you think? A good friend of mine, Isankuma, has always said, we live in a country where sometimes we think taking your matter to the courts is the way to resolve it. And the courtroom, if it's in the High Court, you have one judge. So you want one judge's opinion to affect everybody else, no matter how that opinion is incorrect. Okay, the judges, they don't know everything. They have learned law. They don't know finance. Some of them don't know finance like you and so on. You go to the Supreme Court and you want to subject a very important issue to just five people's views. Yeah. And potentially, you may have only 3 who will win. Mm-hmm. So the views of only those 3 becomes what governs all of us. Yes, Muntaka. Okay. So Muntaka will join us because this matter has come up over and again, and he's had to speak to it. Harun Idrisu, you remember him, and what he said is what we have been projecting for you. He said that's before this, that we will not countenance any action by any person to deny any Ghanaian girl the opportunity to profess or practice any religion. Okay? This is what he said. And if you take this against what the NDC also, was campaigning for, they say that's the inconsistency. I'll share a few messages. And remember that this government-assisted schools actually sat down with the education ministry and they signed an agreement. Yes. In which agreement they agreed, I think about how many, 13 of them or so or more. Yep. I have a copy of the agreement. In which agreement they agreed that there will not be a situation that leads to this kind of thing. Yes, Prof, you have been itching to say something.
Yeah, so I agree with Honorable Fuseni that this issue is very delicate. And I'll prefer that we choose the path of dialogue and continuous engagement. So that, because context is what defines all that we are talking about here. Mission school, that's a contest. Different from a public school, fully funded and founded by the state. And something, if you check across the schools, you will see variations, even when it comes to discipline, how public schools are and the mission schools are. It's amazing for which reason people desire to take their children to what? Mission schools versus maybe purely public schools. It's not only that, from kindergarten, you will see it running across. So with this right and all of that, context is what defines the limitations, what is allowable, to what extent and all of that. And I agree with Honorable Fuseni that some mission schools over a long period of time have come to make some level of concessions through engagement, not through the law. And all of that. So let's continue on that path, because you see,
this
when you go to Ahmadiyya,
this MOU agreed,
yes,
that there will be provision of worship spaces for diverse religions.
That's always been the case.
That there will be prior permission is required before fasting. Prior permission is required. Remember that when the children are there, the school administration and the teachers, they are in loco parentis. They assume the role of parents.
Yes.
And they must be responsible. If anything happens to them, they'll be questioned.
Yeah. And I'm sure Wesley girls, they've had instances, examples of...
They have examples to tell you why they keep to a certain strict routine.
Yes.
Students must conform to school's values, and there should be religious diversity, acceptance of such. So why are we here? Why are we here when this MOU was signed by all those who matter? Ahmadiyya Mission, the AME Zion Church, the Anglican Church, the Assemblies of God Church, the Ghana Baptist Convention, the Catholic Church, Evangelical Presbyterian Church, Office of the National Chief Imam, the Methodist Church, the Presbyterian Church, the Salvation Army, Garrison Education, and Police Education. All of them signed. So why are we back to this place? Let me put that question to the Interior Minister. But before that, let me share a few of your messages here. Isaac says, at Aquinas, St. Thomas Aquinas, a Catholic school, the prospectus we were giving had as one of the associations we are free to join as AMSA. You know what AMSA is? Aquinas Muslim Students Association. But all of us did worship together as one unit at assembly using Catholic methods of doing things. And AMSA had a makeshift sort of mosque on campus, even though this is a purely Catholic boys' day school. This one, your messages are really long.
It's a serious matter.
It says, Christians discussing issues that affect Muslims without their input is like discussing gender issues without women. It's wrong as a principal, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a wrong platform. You are listening to the wrong place. Because we have Muslims, we have Christians here as well. Let me just go to Muntaka.
Hey.
Good to see you, sir.
Ah, good to see you. My lawyer. That I need him most.
Yes. So I my mind goes back, way back, when these issues come up and you make an intervention. And I saw how you would use to galvanize the chief imam's office and all the sheikhs to sit down and talk. Yes. Why are we here again?
Well, it's so sad that we are here once again. And I'm happy to say, like you rightly said, the MOU was signed under my ministry. I became the Minister of Interior. I used a peace council to get them because, you see, we are, I'm sorry to say, for lack of better, we seem to be pretending as people. We don't even try to go and find out what is the genesis of all this. Okay. I mean, tell them, I sent you what I sent you. We had colonial masters who came for a mission. It was to colonize us and exploit our resources. And along that,
he's talking about the 1878
they started an education unit.
He shared with
They started trying to educate us. Then churches were forming their schools. They were having challenges. And let me say here, go check the record. And I say all these schools, they should be sincere. Because you see, we are talking about ethics and morality. And that is the center of the church and the mosques. They were having challenges running the schools. None. Go and check the record. Not a single faith school, whether Muslim or Christian, was forcibly taken by government. There's no one. Each of them had to apply to join. Each of them. Not one was coerced into handing it over to government. No. All of them had to apply. And in 1887, we had this ordinance, that's Cap 67. That says that, well, we don't have a problem if you want to government funding, but these are the conditions. Will you accept? We'll finance you. You can't accept? Run it as your private entity. And each of them that you see today that are so huge, accepted. And that was the condition under which the colonial masters, and I mean, I sent you that, I mean, and Section 7, and I'm sure those ordinances are there for everybody to go and cross-check. Section 7 of the Education Ordinance of 1887, that's Cap 67, articulated the following. Direct religious teaching shall not form part of the instruction to be given in any government school. Section 8 states, assisted schools shall, on being allowed by the Education Board or Board of Education, be enabled to receive aid from the public funds of the colony on the following condition. So you see, the first one is talking about government schools.
Yeah.
The second one is talking about assisted schools.
Right.
That the school be open to children without distinction of religion or race. And that's what we continue to practice up to today. That's why the school selection selects you and puts you anywhere. It doesn't allow you to say that, I won't go to this school because it's a Muslim school. I won't go to this school because it's a Christian school. Because of the inclusivity.
And assisted school means
faith-based.
That school not being a government school, receiving financial assistance from the government.
Yes. No, and that's most important here. 6, Section 8(6), that no child receive religious instruction objected to by the parent or guardian of such child, or be present when such instruction is given. And then the interpretation column, that's Section 3, says, assisted school means a school, not being a government school, receives financial assistance from the government. And this was 1887, long before we had independence. And when we had independence, this was what is in our Education Act. Just to keep the inclusivity. This is what we had in our Education Act of 1961. And I'll just read a section. Section 22 says, provisions relating to race, language, and religion. A person shall not be refused admission as a pupil to, or refuse attendance as a pupil at a school on account of the religious persuasion, nationality, race, or language of that people or of either of the parent of that people. 2, a test or an inquiry shall not be made of or concerning the religious belief of the people or student prior to their admission to a school or college. 3, a person attending or desirous of attending a school as a people shall not, if parents object, be required to attend or to abstain from attending, whether in the institution or elsewhere, a Sunday school or a form of religious worship or observance or instruction in religious subjects. Why did I make reference to these two? Listen, I'm sorry to say, I sit today as the Minister for Interior, and yesterday we just finished a West African security meeting with all the ministers from West Africa, and then we were gracious to have the Minister for Interior for Netherlands sitting in. You may not believe me, our forebearers did so well by putting this to keep us together. Mm-hmm. They did so well. Mm-hmm. From colonial time through independence to today, to keep us together. That is why myself and Mercy, we can play, we can do any other thing, without even asking what tribe is he. Mm. Without he being conscious about what religion I have. Or something, I heard some of the arguments Prof and my sister were making. Believe me, since this struggle started, we have never asked, when I say we, I'm talking about the Muslim community, that allow us to build a church, a mosque in a Catholic school. Never. Never. All we are saying is that...
So on that point, before you continue to develop it, the plaintiff in this suit, Shafiq, he says, he confirms what you have just said.
Yes.
He says, we are not seeking to build mosques in mission schools. All we are asking for is to be allowed to pray and fast. Simple. So I asked him the question, in Wesley Girls, do they prohibit prayer by Muslims? And he says, yes, I'm told.
And something, yes, let me say this. And I sit here, with the greatest of respect and with all my integrity. Wesley Girls ask girls to spy even the Muslim girls to make sure they don't pray. Yes.
I'm told they hide. They hide to pray.
They have to hide to pray. Look, we are playing with something that, I'm sorry to say, can degenerate our society.
Today,
but my worry is
the
this:
Friday prayers,
no,
like people who go to church on a Sunday.
No,
is there the daily prayer?
Yes, the daily prayer. In the case of Muslims, women alone do not even do Friday prayers. It's not even mandatory for a female to be there. That's why you see when you go to most of our Friday prayers, many of them you don't even see them in large numbers. You see the elderly because it's not mandatory. It's for the male. I get it. And even in the case of the male student, let's say, for lack of better word, let's say Presbyterian Boys Secondary School. My second born attended Presbyterian Secondary School. They only have a place where they worship. It's not a mosque, but they give them a space where they can worship. In Achimota, they're giving them a place where they can worship, but they adhere to all the schools. And people say that, oh, you can't get up and go and pray at 1 and get up and go and pray at 3. That's not what they are seeking for. During break time, the prayer takes sometimes 5 minutes. Don't criminalize it. Because they are criminalizing on those campuses. But let me say this, something. I can tell you, majority of the Christian schools are very accommodating. Believe me, if you ask me to rank them from, say, 1 to 100, I can say with authority that over 80% of the Christian faith-based schools are very accommodating. Now, since this struggle started, do you know what we are beginning to see as ministers? Or as a Minister for Interior, some of the Muslim schools are beginning to also do. I said, no. What you complained that was wrong somewhere, we will not allow you to also do it here. Because one, others are beginning to say that, look, you come here, this Ahmadiyya Muslim, I'm just saying that because I don't want to mention a specific school. This is a Muslim school, so you have to perform ablution and you have to be in the mosque. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. and it's mandatory for every Muslim who is healthy. So during Ramadan, we won't cook, we won't provide lunch. We only provide the dawn prayer. If you want, you can keep your dawn prayer food as a Christian and eat it in the afternoon. That is intolerance. Whether it's coming from the Muslim faith school or Christian faith school, we are saying that let's accommodate. And then you see that, what do you call it, we did, the Memorial Sunday. We took our time. And I must admit, it was started by the previous government. And when I came, I said, look, this is a very good thing that we need to finish the race. So together with the Minister for Education, we tried to get this thing signed. You see the people who signed 13, almost all the heads, including the garrison education and the police education, they all signed that will be accommodative. And accommodative varies. But what is happening in some of the schools is that they virtually criminalize even you trying to say that you are of this faith or that faith. And
Susan was talking about order.
Yes.
So we are in the school, and the Muslim student has to move out how many times? Maybe 3-4 times during the day to go and pray. The school management may think that is not good for their education. It's an interruption. And it may not also help to properly monitor them. What do you say?
And I said that, look, anybody who tries to do that is an act of indiscipline because that's not how it's done. The dawn prayer is done, depending on the time, currently it's around 4:50, just before 5 o'clock. How does that disrupt school activity? The Zuhur, that's the first afternoon prayer, currently is around 12 to about 1 o'clock. And then the second one is around 3. You can put them, that's one of the beauty about our you can put them together during break and have both the 1 and the 3 done during break. And maximum, it won't take you 10 minutes. The fourth one is done currently around 6 o'clock. And then the last one, that one even lasts it starts from 7 up to around midnight. Meaning that you can go for prep, finish even prep, and come and observe it. So if anybody says that because I'm a Muslim and I'm in even TIMAS, Ahmadiyya Secondary School, will not allow you to say that, oh, it's 12 o'clock, I'm going to go out to pray and come back. And then 3 o'clock, I'm going out to... No, even TIMAS will not. Islamic Secondary School in Kumasi, they will not allow you because they know you can do that during break time. But the problem we are having is that when people criminalize it and say that this is a Christian, so we don't want to see you worshiping any other thing apart from what we believe. We are saying that you are imposing your faith on this innocent. And look, and I repeat, with the greatest respect, that
you said over 80% of the faith-based, Christian faith-based, they observe this.
And they observe it. But the only challenge we have is
is it really about, we won't allow you to express your worship or manifest your religion, or it's about this time won't allow you to make this movement?
It is complete. For those who are, like Wesley girls, and I keep repeating because we've been engaging for the past 5 years. Ask everybody. I had to go and meet the most reverend with a team of parliamentarians. And we made the case that, look, you remember all that? We've been engaging and saying that, look, can we be accommodative? Because it is, I'm sorry, I'm speaking now as a member of parliament. And I'm telling what we did. And it's like, you can't impose your will on us. But we are not imposing our will on you. We are saying that this is a country that all of us, belongs to all of us. And we all have to be accommodative to accommodate each other. But let me say this, very, very important. You don't have no idea what's going on in our sub-region. And I can bet you, many of them have their roots in the way they created silos in their communities. I don't want to mention specific countries. As we speak, as the Minister Supervising National Security, I'm telling you that some of our neighbors have up to 1.3 million internally displaced people because of this kind of misunderstanding. 1.7 million displaced internally. Some of them have run to us. You see them on our streets. We are trying to get them back into their country. And the challenge is that...
Do you think that getting 5 judges in the Supreme Court, or at most 3, to make orders, will be the best way to go?
Frankly speaking, if I had my way, I would have said that let's continue engaging. Because believe me, 5 years ago when we started this, and now,
You can see that
there's a huge improvement.
So let's continue.
For me, that trend, I mean, liberty. I mean, remember when apartheid was in South Africa, it was seen as legitimate, even though everybody saw it as inhumane. But gradually, people were able to get out of it. Slavery was legitimate until people came. I mean, colonization was legitimate. But gradually, I believe that they will be able to overcome. Yes, we have some that are very recalcitrant. Because even the Methodists that we are saying, I know some Methodist schools who are accommodating.
Yes.
Others are not. And we are saying that, and my worry, frankly speaking, is when our religious leaders step in, because they tend to fuel the crisis even more. And for me, and with all greater respect and humility to them, ethical leadership is so important.
Briefly, one of the campaign promises was to ensure that we don't have people being restricted in wearing their hijab in their workplaces and so on. How far with that?
Yeah, we are on, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is very emphatic. His belief is that we must create all-inclusive society. Let's not segregate ourselves and disadvantage each other, because for whatever reason, if I disadvantage my sister Susan, I haven't done anything.
Okay. Yes, Prof. Bokun, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I mean, we as I indicated earlier, you will see variations across mission schools and how tolerant they are to other people. You will see not only in mission schools, even Ahmadiyya mission schools and the rest of the Muslims. I mean, I attended one. And I'm very grateful. And I always say it's the best school in Ghana.
Which one? Kumasi?
No, not Kumasi, unfortunately. You understand that? And something, I mean, there are routine practices in Muslim schools that every Christian goes through once you attend.
Yeah.
Assembly, some recitals, and all those things. It's everywhere. Okay.
Just like the Muslim students are expected to do.
So that's why I'm saying that the way to go is to promote the tolerance that recognizes each other's space to some extent. Yeah. Because when you engage Ahmadiyya mission schools, they don't want to give up totally in terms of allowing everybody, anybody at all. No. We have engaged and all of that, even old students, and we have come to realize.
Especially the old students, that's for them.
Yes. We have come to realize that, look, the unity in the midst of diversity that recognizes each other's space and that tolerance will be more sustainable than using the law to solve this. And I agree with what you said. That when I saw this, I said, look, let's be very careful we don't run into the situation where we are going to legislate love, right? That probably may be observed more in breach than in compliance. I think we have come a long way. In this dialogue and the rest, and as you indicated, there are some Catholic mission schools where they make provision.
Yes.
There are this and all of that. So with time, and if you look at the MOU, if you read the MOU totally, you can see that all of them agree the dynamics and the difficulty. I hope you understand that in accommodating. So there's some kind of progressivity that I see in this
if a
MOU.
School like Wesley Girls is not comply with the MOU, what should be the approach?
Well, this is what
look at this,
Professor. Let me just suggest this. I sincerely believe that the current Education Act, I think 773 or something, we need to relook at it, because the provision in the Education Act of 1961 is much clearer for me. It takes ambiguity. It tells you that no, you cannot do like the coercion, the denial, you cannot do, but the general rule is there. We need to be able to look at that. Ghana Education Service, I've been engaging the education minister, because you see, sometimes some of the things that happen, we are watched internationally. Some of the things that happen on those school campuses, I tell you, are criminal. And I keep telling the Ghana Education, you need to be able to create a portal where students, whether Muslims or Christians, wherever they find themselves, Buddhists, can launch a complaint. And when they launch a complaint, let's segregate this is a school environment, and deal with the criminal aspect as criminal. So if Munchaka goes to beat somebody because he has asked him to go to a church service and he hasn't gone, that is assault. So we deal with it as such. And Muntaka will be dealt with not the Catholic school, because the moment we draw the religion in, we tend to mix it up. Let's deal with the individuals who are recalcitrant, so that we'll be able to know that, look, we have a law like this one that all of them have agreed to, we have to implement. If someone decides that I will not want to implement it, why you are simply trying to do that? You are trying to create chaos in the environment. Because if you read this very well, and believe me, all of them have extreme ends. This one drew them to the middle. So there's some gain, some loss. So we need to be able to encourage them.
Thank you.
And let me just say this lastly. Maybe I know because you may move away from this.
Thompson, can I come in?
Just very lastly.
Okay, hold on for Muntaka.
Just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Currently, and with the greatest respect, let me say this emphatically. None of the faith-based schools can run without government subvention. So they should stop saying that, you just come with aid. No. The moment you withdraw the teachers, even leave the infrastructure for them, they can't run. All of them will collapse.
But we have known that for a period now. Some of them have been asking that.
No, what they are asking for. What they are asking for is that they want the teachers to be paid by state, but let them run. No, we are saying that if government is going to withdraw something,
I decided I want to run our school.
I think that
we charge our fees.
Can I say that we will charge our fees?
Yeah.
Because look, we will charge our fees to run our schools. We will shrink the schools down. We will not have 1,800 people who can't find anywhere to sleep. You understand?
Is that like
you
a
will probably
private
have
school,
600.
a private school that is currently struggling, because when you do that, you pay tax, you pay all the other things. I get it.
Let them
all
pay.
Those things.
Look,
will shrink the school. All of us are better off.
We are not necessary. Let me
the state must be neutral.
I think that let me say this from this thing.
It's an interesting argument, because I know, for example, that most of the private universities also faith-based are actually crying that the state should come to their help.
No, look, something that's different. I have studied the model.
Yes.
Look, I have studied the model. That's different. Look, when it pre-tertiary and the dynamics is different from tertiary. Tertiary, there are high-quality computing public schools.
Public schools.
So that's why I say that it's the failure of the state to provide alternative quality schools. I hope you understand that. That would accommodate everybody else.
But in all of look, I went to. Can I say something? Kpandai King had an anniversary 10 years ago, their 60th anniversary, and I looked at at that time, and even still, the creme de la creme of society and banking, in finance, in engineer. They went to Kpandai King. When we invited them to come for a program, 3/4 of them didn't have their children there. And we asked them why they didn't have their children there. They said, you have diluted it with the public system, and that my children will not get the kind of education I got here. So they will rather take their children to the expensive schools where they are paying $1 equivalent to any school outside. Do you understand?
I get that.
When we revert the schools back to the missions, what will happen is that the schools will shrink, become extremely exclusive. Maybe it will only be the bourgeois who will be able to afford to go there, and we become a society where we are how would I put it? Emphasizing the gap between the rich and the poor. I think that the missions, really one of the things that the missions also wanted to do was to be able to give education to all spheres of people in all the same. If we force them to say that, give us back our schools, we will do that. Because look, you go to America, you go to whatever, people are struggling to get into these mission schools whose fees are way above any other private school.
Let me go to
yes, they do that. So I think that we should not get to that
now for his brief concluding comment. And thank you for the perspectives that you brought earlier on, because I've got many people who are very happy about where you came from with your views. For someone like me who is coming from the Upper East region, I appreciate that, but for the Catholic Church, I don't know how many of our people there would have received education and also be able to contribute to society the way we have done. If you see, for example, that in the Upper West region, You have a lot of doctors, lawyers, the best of them. All is because of the Catholic Church presence in the Upper West region. In the Upper East region, you can say the same. You go to Tamale and the rest of them. The story remains the same. So we must not do anything to as it were you said, weaken the strong, the people who brought us the foundation for all of these things. I sit on a faith-based schools board, and I appreciate some of these issues. They are delicate.
Yeah.
Let's hear you quickly.
So, I mean, we must get things straight. Now, nothing prevents a faith-based school to run an exclusively private school based on its faith, its values. Nothing. So if you are a Catholic school, and I tell you, the St. Charles Secondary School, until recently, was run as a faith-based school until they realized that they needed government assistance and opened the school up. I told you I attended St. Joseph's. I couldn't apply. Their name was not on the common entrance form. And they did not take government subvention. Now, when they took government subvention, they applied for government subvention, they had to open up the school because the money comes from the people of Ghana, and the people of Ghana includes people of all faiths. That is why we need to look at accommodating everybody. And we can do it. We can do it by allowing people to practice their faith without compromising our values. I urge you, Susan, I urge you, Doctor, I urge you, Mercy, that it is possible to do it with getting people into schools practicing their various faiths. Mind you, faith is an inherently private affair.
100%.
And so let's not. I see great fault lines. I see great fault lines. And then when we escalate, the fault lines, we divide our country. And when we divide our country, we might regret it. I mean, we might regret our actions. And that is why I urge compromise.
Right.
I urge tolerance.
Okay.
I urge accommodation.
And
so that we can build ourselves out.
What do you say about seeking through, judicial decision, which can go either way, and which can get to where you say it worsens it, or rather the other way?
I said it in my opening first remark. I said it. I don't believe that the court is the best avenue to seek a redress of this issue. I said it.
So what do we do to the suit?
We withdraw the suit for settlement. We withdraw the suit for settlement.
You think that's what the Attorney General should pursue?
I think that's what Attorney General should pursue. I think that is what everybody should pursue. I think that let's get compromises done and get everybody respected as an individual. Look at history. Look at what colonization did to the Inuit in Canada. Because the Inuit and indigenous people in France, look at what it did to them. They thought that they were not fit enough to even raise their own children. They took their children away from them.
Okay.
And gave to families.
Thank you.
Let's identify and respect the dignity of everybody.
All right. Professor Ken Tefwa, who has just been crowned Ghana's most influential corporate leader of the decade. He is a human rights person. He used to be with the Shraj. He's done quite a bit of work there. He has written an article, and among others, I read a few points he makes. He says, a school, no matter its founding heritage, is not entitled to disregard or violate any element of fundamental human rights. Wesley Girls High School is not a private school, despite its Methodist founding heritage and its celebrated excellence. Wesley Girls High School is a publicly funded school. It is not how a school was funded, but how it is, how a school was founded, but how it is funded. Any person or class of persons of whatever religious faith is entitled to set up a private doctrinal religious school subject to compliance with the applicable laws of Ghana. A private doctrinal religious school is at liberty to exclude persons who do not subscribe or adhere to its religious practices, principles, and or tenets. A private doctrinal religious institution from crèche to college cannot be partly or wholly funded by the public purse. So that's the point he's making. Once you want to accept the state's, support in funding, then you must also, as it were, allow for the constitutional dictates as far as human rights are concerned to prevail, as argued by Professor Kweku Azar also. I've seen his message also here. Dr. Nyahonyaho Tamaklo, Togbi Dr. Nyahonyaho Tamaklo says, let me make this absolutely clear. Long before independence, even during the strict colonial period, this country lived with and tolerated religious diversity. We shared the same communities, the same markets, the same festivals. And after independence, Ghana continued on that path. We were raised as a secular state, and that secular foundation must remain firm. No one should think they can use religion to destabilize this nation. It will not work. In Ghana, Christians marry Muslims, and Muslims marry Christians. We celebrate each other's festivals. Actually, other places where you think it's a Muslim country, when you go, it's beautiful. Right here in Africa, the space they make for Christians. Christians join Eid celebrations and Muslims join Christmas gatherings. In many homes across this country, you will find a Christian mother and a Muslim father raising their children together in peace. That is who we are. Our national institutions also reflect this inclusiveness. At state functions, you will see Christian clergy praying alongside Muslim clerics. During national crisis, the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the Office of the Chief Imam, and traditional leaders sit at the same table to guide the nation. Even our armed forces and security services have provided spaces for both Christian and Muslim worship for decades. Government must therefore act decisively and immediately to nip in the bud any dangerous canker trying to raise its ugly head. We cannot allow extremism of any form to threaten the harmony generations before us preserved with wisdom and sacrifice. And let me remind everyone, when the National Chief Imam celebrated his 100th birthday inside Christ the King Catholic Church, it spoke volumes. It showed the true spirit of Ghana: respect, tolerance, inclusion, and unity. Those of us who call ourselves Christians must understand the significance of that gesture. This is the Ghana we must protect. Thanks for that. Papako says that Notre Dame Seminary, it was strictly Catholic. You came through a parish and had to, after common entrance, write another exam and interview before you were selected. I went through the Sacred Heart Parish, Bogatanga, where my mate, Father John Kantogi, is now the diocesan priest. Mass and everything else in the school, including pork in the dining hall on Sundays, were exclusively Catholic. But here is the catch. Then, we were exclusively run by the Catholic Church, with 80% of the teachers being foreign priests. Only a few were Ghanaians, including Emmanuel Bombande, who was my house master in Label House. But once government funding comes in, the exclusivity will be lost and diluted. This one says, kindly flip the coin and ask if the Muslim schools allow Christians to practice their faith. Thank you. Okay, I'm sure you sent this before Muntaka spoke. Then Atabadu, a foremost procurement expert, says that this thing of government-assisted schools that allowed us to crisscross the country to go to school is the one reason Ghana is unique. You do not see this blessing until you go live and work outside. I lived and worked in Kenya. It is an insanely polarized country along ethnic lines, so much that it cuts across all facets. The challenge in Nigeria is same: North versus South, West versus East, Christian versus Muslim, Sunni versus others, etc. Ghana has a luxury almost all African countries do not have. We should all thank Nkrumah so much for using various means to forge a one Ghana identity. All the wars in Africa have undertones grounded in division. Tafa says, I attended Bishop Herman College, a purely Catholic school. We had a small mosque where we worship, and then it was time for Ramadan. The kitchen prepared food separately in the evening. This was as far back as in the 1990s.
The foundation was laid prior to Nkrumah.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Komla, let me read.
Experience in the time past. I've had some experience in the time past. Calm down.
Komla says, it's about time mission school writes their terms and conditions for admission of students if they cannot go by it. Don't seek admission from the school. It looks like they are betraying the mission schools because their parents knew what goes on in such schools. AJ says the Muslims are not seeking mosque in mission schools, only the right to pray and fast in line with their faith. The Jesus they believed in fasted and prayed for 40 days and 40 nights. Why? Is the Methodist faith now against fasting and prayers? Collins Little Tete says, what are the non-negotiable pillars of the school's religious character? And what are the areas where flexibility can be granted without undermining those pillars? And finally, Honorable Inusa has shown maturity in his opinion. We have to take away passion, emotions, and personal ideology into a lifelong situation. I suggest schools should publish their traditions, norms, and practices before BEC candidates make school selections. Thank you very much. But the messages are just too many, but I can pause here. Thank you very much.
I think that, like Honorable said, 80% of the mission schools adhere to the MOU.
Yeah.
Let us not throw the baby away with the bathwater.
Exactly.
They definitely will be fringes, with extremes. Out there, we are mixing the issues.
Yes.
Most of us are saying, most of us are saying that we have lived with each other in peace. And most of us didn't have any problems at all. You were allowed to practice your faith as it is. I agree. We all agree with Honorable Inusa.
You are still on air because you have been tormenting me for almost 30 minutes now. We should go on break.
Okay, all right. Then let's
Can I just say this before you break? I'm saying that I beg all of us. This idea that don't make the strong weak so that the weak will get strong. I'm sorry to say it's wrong. If I'm strong and then my attention is drawn about weakness that I can help, it doesn't make me weak. In fact, it makes me even stronger. Because, and I keep saying that, you see, when you look at the teachings, all of them, interestingly, are Abrahamic background, both Christianity and Islam.
Yeah.
None of them, their teachings, says maltreat a neighbor. all of us are teachers. The Christ, Christians say, love their neighbor as thyself. It is a lie that Christian neighbor. For the Muslims,
we must go on
the prophet said that you will cease to be a believer. If
we must go on the break now. There are companies and people who pay for this show, and compromise and soft policy is the way to go, not lawsuits, according to Papa Kwakwe.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Let's talk hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are normal structures located in the anus of all mammals.
But it is only man who suffers hemorrhoidal disease because of the erect posture we have assumed and the squatting that we do to empty our bowel. Hemorrhoids consist of a special type of blood vessels which fill with blood when we are moving our bowel and help to cushion the anus against the force of transmitting the stool. Afterwards, they empty their blood, collapse, help seal the anus to maintain continence. Over time, these vessels lose the elasticity of their walls, become dilated, permanently filled with blood, leading to congestion of the hemorrhoids. The symptoms of hemorrhoids are bleeding and prolapse of the hemorrhoids when passing stool, itching and feeling of warmth in the anus and anal discharge. Laser, ligature, and longo are the modern, minimally invasive, most effective and painless methods of treating hemorrhoids today.
Winterba Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat, undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
In a world where everything is connected, your business's security is only as strong as its weakest link. The growing threat of cybercrime has become an unescapable reality. In 2025 alone, the projected cost of cybercrime is expected to grow to $10 trillion globally, with small-medium businesses disproportionately targeted. Cyber threats have become increasingly sophisticated, widespread, and invisible, placing unequipped organizations at risk of massive damages in a matter of seconds. Meet Virtual InfoSec Africa, Ghana's Tier 1 certified managed security service provider. Our AI-driven managed security services empower businesses with faster, smarter, and more proactive cyber protection. We don't just monitor threats, we predict, prevent, and respond 24/7. At Virtual InfoSec Africa, we deliver bold and cost-effective cybersecurity solutions tailored to your organization's size and complexity. Whether you're a startup or a national institution, our services scale with your needs. We offer 24/7 SOC monitoring, early warning threat intelligence, managed detection and response, digital forensics and incident response, and predictive analysis and threat hunting. From endpoint protection to dark web forensics, we secure every layer of your digital ecosystem. Why wait for a breach to act? Join the ranks of high institutions who trust Virtual InfoSec Africa to secure their future. Start your 3-month free trial of our early warning threat intelligence platform today. For more inquiries, contact 055-689-2086 or visit our website at www.virtualinfosecafrica.com.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Dream. For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
In a world where everything is connected, your business's security is only as strong as its weakest link. The growing threat of cybercrime has become an unescapable reality. In 2025 alone, the projected cost of cybercrime is expected to grow to $10 trillion globally, with small-medium businesses disproportionately targeted. Cyber threats have become increasingly sophisticated, widespread, and invisible, placing unequipped organizations at risk of massive damages in a matter of seconds. Meet Virtual InfoSec Africa, Ghana's Tier 1 certified managed security service provider. Our AI-driven managed security services empower businesses with faster, smarter, and more proactive cyber protection. We don't just monitor threats, we predict, prevent, and respond 24/7. At Virtual InfoSec Africa, we deliver bold and cost-effective cybersecurity solutions tailored to your organization's size and complexity. Whether you're a startup or a national institution, our services scale with your needs. We offer 24/7 SOC monitoring, early warning threat intelligence, managed detection and response, digital forensics and incident response, and predictive analysis and threat hunting. From endpoint protection to dark web forensics, we secure every layer of your digital ecosystem. Why wait for a breach to act? Join the ranks of high institutions who trust Virtual InfoSec Africa to secure their future. Start your 3-month free trial of our early warning threat intelligence platform today. For more inquiries, contact 055-689-2086 or visit our website at www.virtualinfosecafrica.com.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat, undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. Okay, we're going to another issue, but just a couple of these comments that I need to share. Kwame Esiedu Sapon says that religion is a very emotive subject, even when we have guidance from the 19th century, an educational act, and a memorandum of understanding on religious practices, we can't agree. Wow, what a people. Then Dr. Kwame Asante says that as a traditional person, can my children also practice their faith in both Christian and Muslim schools, bearing in mind that we, the traditionalists, are the owners of all the lands that these schools occupy? Dr. Asante, I hear you. And then Prof. Douglas says that thanks for the way the discussion has gone. At the end of the day, the most important truth is simple. We are one people, different backgrounds, different beliefs, different traditions, but one nation, one destiny, one humanity. Let us be careful. Let us be wise. Let us not allow religion to become the knife that cuts the fabric holding us together. No faith teaches hatred. No God celebrates division. No scripture rewards the breaking of a nation. When religion is used to unite, we rise. When religion is used to divide, we fall. History has shown this too many times. Okay, thank you very much. And that's from Professor Douglas Boatin. It's also a very long one. Somehow today, all the messages you are sending, it doesn't look like you can send short messages. All of you are sending very tall articles, but I like the positive, tones that we have in almost all the messages. And so there is ongoing the Eco Bank, the Republic Bank, and Love FM, Habitat Fair going on in Kumasi. So if you are looking for your dream home, that is where it starts. It's a 3-day fair, and it's ongoing at the Kumasi City Mall. The Lands Commission is on site. Get your land documentation sorted, quick and easy. ECG is also on site. You need a meter. Got billing issues? Walk in, walk out, problem solved. Republic Bank is ready. whether it's financial support or the best mortgage deals, they've got you covered. And don't miss the DBS Roofing's Bosu Free promo. Pay only for the roofing. The installation is absolutely free. So please listen to my invitation. This is obviously, call it a Black Friday event. Visit the Republic Bank Love FM Habitat Fair at the Kumasi City Mall today and tomorrow to enjoy all of these happening right there in Kumasi. So now let's go to Kpandai, because there's some problem brewing there. The person who lost the elections, NDC's candidate, he was previously the one who held that seat. And he won it by about 52% or so. And Matthew Yindam at the time managed about 40-something, percent of the votes then. Now, in 2024, Matthew Yindam turns things around. And he wins by 53% plus. And this candidate doesn't make it. So he goes to court. Of course, that's the right place to go. He goes to court. I'm talking about Daniel in Salah, Wakpa. He goes to court complaining that something went wrong. Something went wrong. As many as 41 of the polling station votes or so, he feels were tampered with. And the court gave a decision called bench ruling. So as we speak, there's no judgment. All of us can read to understand how the court arrived at the decision, but it's allowed. So the court gave a decision and said the election verdict was tainted, and therefore by irregularities, and therefore it's been invalidated. 30 days, there must be a rerun. He went to Parliament and a fight began to ensue. Let's begin to look at that issue. Yes, you are in Parliament, you are familiar with these things. How do you appreciate what happened?
Well, I mean,
what is happening?
For myself and my brother Messi, we say this is a usual thing. I mean, you go to election, you win or you lose. And if you lose and you have a very strong objection, you object, you go to court, which is the right place to go, rather than maybe try to create a confusion at the polling station and sometimes get people lose their life. So that's the right thing to do. And instances we've seen where the court at the High Court will agree with you, but the person that you usually will appeal. And I've seen Honorable Dr. Al-Hassan in, I think, after the 2004 election, had a challenge. Yes, I think so, yes, had a challenge. The court, the same Tamale, ruled that the place should be run again, but he appealed. I mean, so graciously, the same rule applies. That time it was Honorable Sachi Hughes. So allowed the appeal. And when the appeal came, it went back to Dr. Yakubu that no, the decision of the High Court was wrong. So he stayed as a member of Parliament till he finished. Also, one that I can also remember vividly was Honorable Dan Abadapi, when he was sentenced and after the 2005 election. Between 2005 and I think 2007, he was jailed for causing financial loss. He appealed, and during the process of the appeal, the seats kept waiting until, unfortunately, the matter couldn't be even determined till it was election again. Well, it was never conclusive till it was election again. So there was no rush to replace it. So I would say, as a member of Parliament who have been in the House for over 2 decades, we've seen this again and again and again. I've cited example from our side, where I mentioned Honorable Dan Agwadapi and Honorable Dr. Alassane Yakubu from Mion when this thing happened. There are so many others that had happened where the High Court makes ruling, you go to the appeals court, and sometimes they're the decision of the High Court is turned down. We don't know what's going to happen. The Member of Parliament, I'm told by law, has 7 days. I've heard him say that he has filed for the appeal. So let the law run its full course. I'm only worried about the way, I mean, all of us, when decision of the courts happens and we are not happy, we have every right to comment on them and to make and state our factual disagreement. But to go insinuating and calling names, I mean, it weakens our democracy.
Is it insinuating? Let's hear Afenyoma King what he had to say, and that's the point of disagreement.
The judiciary must know that their actions and inactions to serve the interests of whoever their paymaster is has the tendency of destroying our peaceful republic. We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of courts. We are criticizing their shameful conduct. We are not afraid. We are ready to be in Nsawam for their so-called contempt. The sad part of it is that the NDC candidates and his supporters were aware of the judgment before the day, to the extent that on the day of the said judgment, the regional minister led a team of NDC party faithfuls into the courtroom, anticipating the expected result.
So typically, if any ordinary lawyer makes these statements, they will be on the way to actually go to jail for contempt. But he is minority leader, so he has a certain leverage, and he's doing a certain public commentary, which perhaps the democracy will permit.
I'm worried because, Robert, we're in November. Remember last year this time, what he was saying about the court. And since then, I don't know whether this High Court judge who was appointed this year. I mean, you see, my worry is that, and all of us sometimes get guilty of it when the emotions go, but you have to be careful the way you do the criticism. Because this one, like I said, that's why I'll call it insinuations. It goes beyond just criticizing the decision. One, you are painting the whole judiciary with the same brush. This is a lawyer, this is a minority leader. You
guys are guilty of the same.
You are saying that paymasters. You are saying that they knew the possible outcome. Samson, you are a lawyer, and you and I have been in court a number of times, right? And there have been instances when we are going, we expect, and you tell me, I mean, you sometimes tell me, this one is 50-50. It could go this way, it could go that way. You tell me it's 50-50, it goes this way. And sometimes I tell them, okay, if it goes this way, what should we do? If it's that way, what should we do?
That's right.
And I prepare for any of the 50-50, isn't it?
That's right.
So how do you then say that based on that 50-50 that you, my lawyer, told me, and I prepare in a certain response, it means that the judge is paid? I mean, when you do this, we then, by our action and inaction and comments, weaken the very judiciary that we expect to be strong. Because now, let's assume, if we go to the appeals court and they tender the decision of the High Court judge, should the majority that come out and say that the appeal court judges are also corrupt and they've been paid by you and all that? I mean, so I'm worried about the posture of the minority leader, and I think that, yes, it's not immune completely, but I want to believe the judiciary may be hesitant because of the position that it's occupying and the possible rancor and political division that it may create. But I must say that it's very disappointing to hear the minority leader say this, and I expect them to be more responsible as a minority leader in this comment. I mean, we were in the leadership, and something you will bear me, there have been instances emotions go so high. But we need to be measured. And I maybe I should assist him by telling him that he must learn and get his facts right. You remember when, after the former majority leader, Honorable Chairman Sabons, after we elected Speaker, said that, we were bribing were trying to influence some of their members. Then, out of emotion, I said that, you who were trying to influence the other. In the case, you even were trying to get some Supreme Court judges to influence some members. You remember the heat I had to go through? I had to apologize. Because, I had to apologize. I didn't mention any specific name. I just said that, we know that you have even used a Supreme Court judge to do this. And something you knew, as I know, that look, we had the phone number because it was unknown. We had the conversation 8 minutes, but the court will not give us the order for MTN to give us the audio. So I said that, look, you, my colleague, who told me this information, you told me you have recorded it, not knowing that it was swept, it was clean on her phone. So we didn't have it. And everybody said that, look, but this one, Sam George is the communication minister. So he was the one who did all the tracking, all the numbers and everything with Lawyer Tatuchi Carter and others. They were all insisting that, no, Mutika, you have to stand your ground. I said, no. Ethics should be very, very important. Once we cannot get the actual evidence, it will be unfair for the other Supreme Court judges. Because if I had mentioned a specific judge, it would be between myself and that judge. Now I've said the whole Supreme Court judges. And now the very evidence we're relying on is destroyed. And we can't have it from the court because the court will not grant us to go to MTN to get it. I think that the most decent thing to do is to apologize. And I did apologize. And I have no regret apologizing because if it was down to me, I expect an apology. I want the minority leader to know that being in leadership position comes with a lot of responsibility. And managing that with your emotion and what you say and what you don't say is very, very important. And also, as he's the lead person, I was a whip.
You, the majority, have already pushed him to the wall, especially with this ECOWAS Parliament matter. And now they actually held a press conference just yesterday, Patricia Appiah-Jay, the deputy, asking the speaker to apologize and so on, and then the petition citing him to the Privileges Committee to be withdrawn unconditionally, among others.
But I mean,
why do you cite your minority leader to appear for discipline at the Privileges Committee? When we were taking that decision in the chamber, try and get the video, I spoke and I gave the history. I'm with all humility, Samson, and with the greater respect to our listeners, I am nobody. As my brother here knows, by the grace of God, I've been the longest serving whip this country has ever seen. I've served as majority whip and minority whip. And he knows. There's something we call in the parliament, we call the chamber dynamics. I'm gifted with it. He knows. I'm very good, but God has given me that gift. I'm able. That day I predicted this. And I sent a caution to him that don't go to ECOWAS Parliament and embarrass us. Because when you do, it will trigger parliamentary privileges. I don't know, he didn't listen. Because what we do in the House and took a decision, you go and contrary against that decision. So much as individual, in an external parliament, like ECOWAS Parliament, her consent was never sought. She just heard the announcement for her to take over his place. She can't do that.
It is something that is in the House, and he knows. I came to meet it. Honorable Chairman Sabunso, they were there from the beginning because he was there from 1996. When they created the parliament, they did start that it's a mixture of leadership and middle and back benches. So, for example, in ECOWAS, it has always been the chief whip on both sides. Then you have other members going. Then in Pan-African Parliament, you have the deputy speaker, the deputy leaders, and other members going. By the time it got to my turn as whip, I was already a backbencher member of the Pan-African Parliament. Then I persuaded the House that, can you kindly allow me, I've built some experience here, instead of switching to ECOWAS Parliament, to remain in Pan-African Parliament. And the House graciously agreed. That's how come the regime then changed. Then the whips now are in Pan-African Parliament and deputy leaders. So it is for the position. So if, for example, we send a deputy majority whip, and then you lose that position, you are supposed to be out. In my case, remember when we were removing leadership? In fact, there were attempts to replace me. But I was chairing the Finance Committee of Pan-African Parliament. Then the Deputy Speaker, Osewusu, Honorable Osewusu, together with the senior member, Honorable Collins, went to the Speaker to say, look, Honorable Muntaka, yes, by virtue of being removed from the leadership, automatically loses his position. But we are pleading that because he chairs the Finance Committee of Pan-African Parliament, taking him out will mean Ghana will lose that position. But we are love only 5 months.
Why couldn't the same thing be done for Afenyo?
No, but the reality is that the reality is that there are other privileges that they even remember on the floor. I even said, look, I will list all the privileges that the leaders have. Why they don't go to the Pan-African Parliament and ECOWAS, and they are kept to IPU and CPA. IPU is International Parliamentary Union, and then CPA is Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The privileges the leaders have in the House, believe me, it is something that if you are a backbencher and you hear it, you are not careful. Every day you be fighting with your leader.
But in any case, the deputy says, I don't want my leader to keep it.
No, you see the optics of it. And I'm sorry to say that you can't expose private conversations. Look, it is not for her to say that I don't want. Because it's a position that is meant for her. Yes, I know there have been instances where people say that, like Bedra. No, sorry, Aveji. Mm-hmm. Aveji was supposed to go. Then he says that, look, I'm leaving it for Bedra, Honorable Bedra to go. I will keep the chairing of the public accounts and allow Honorable Bedra from my caucus to go replace me. But even that, the House has to take a decision. And the House took a decision, okay, we agree with you. In his case, the House disagreed with him. I can tell you, because that decision is not for individual. I can say that, I want Honorable Susan to replace me. But the House must take that decision. In his case, the House disagreed with him and said, no, we are not going to allow a leader to go. Because if a leader goes, it is going to distort the House.
Okay. And we just had a discussion about prudence.
Yes.
Where we say, better not go to court, sit around and solve this. Why do you want to punish and discipline a leader?
It is because when that happened, all the signal was sent to him, including some of us who were in leadership. And I told him that, look, I'm saying it with all the sincerity of my heart because I've been in the leadership longest. And the Speaker, fortunately, has also been in the House much longer than me. And he has been in the House because he served as minority leader and all Deputy Speaker longer. So please don't. And we thought that he was going to take clue. But he still insisted and went to Abuja and, for lack of a better word, misbehaved and embarrassed the country. And for that, he has to be punished. If you don't do that, what precedent will you be setting tomorrow? When the House takes a decision and sends you a signal that we know you can go and do this. If you do, there will be these consequences. And then you still go ahead and did it and created all the embarrassment in Abuja. And if you get away with it, because you are a minority leader, tomorrow if another member does the same, what will we do?
So I come to Japan Mesa, and the Interior Minister has to leave us. Thank you very much. Honorable Nus of Seni is still on the line with us as well. On this Matuyindam situation, Japan Mesa, look, so they go to the court and they say 41, is it, did I say constituencies? 41 polling stations are affected. And then eventually the judgment affects the whole process. Why is it difficult for the minority to accept that this can be a judgment that is not tainted by some paymasters or a judgment that, a judge has to do through, call it a shameless process? Because sometimes you go to court and the things you ask for, you may not get those things. You may get different results.
Samson, it's interesting you introduce this angle that sometimes you go to court and you may not get what you ask for. You may get different things. But I'm not so sure that you go to court and get more than what you ask for. I'm not so sure. And I'll be surprised if you yourself personally were not scandalized when you heard the decision that has been delivered by the court. It will be fair for us to await the full judgment to enable us render a proper critique of the decision. But for the petitioner to ask for the annulment of 41 polling stations, where the issues that he complained of actually took place, and the court to say that he has annulled the entire election and has ordered a rerun of all the 152 polling stations. It's amazing. Amazing. Of course, you remember the elections petition, Nana Akufo-Addo versus the Electoral Commission, John Mahama, the kind of statements that the Supreme Court made, that you cannot invalidate the vote of voters merely on account of some action not having been taken by the electoral officers. So to invalidate the entirety of the votes in Kpandai, because someone complained of 41 polling stations, which if the court was minded to, and that if it had indeed been established that there were some irregularities in those polling stations, it would be acceptable, if you like, if the court had said that it was invalidating the 41 polling stations for the electoral commissioner to conduct a rerun in those polling stations, rather than invalidating the entirety of the result. And it's surprising to me that our friends...
Do you know, we don't have any of the lawyers on the platform now, but do you know what must have led to invalidation of the entire rather than the 41? Because it is possible that in assessing the 41, the judge could have come to a decision that the 41, they taint the rest.
Yep. How so? When evidence would have been laid on the 41 police stations that the petitioner himself complained of. How so? The rest of the police stations were not an issue. Okay?
Yeah,
and so to suggest that, well, you complain of 41 police stations, and ordinarily, if I was making any determination on the fact before me and the evidence before me, I'm to restrict myself to the fact and evidence before me and make a determination. But I'm going beyond that and invalidate the entire polling result of the constituency. It's far-fetched. But it will be good, like I said, for us to see the full judgment. Because
what if the 41 polling stations results put together
doesn't matter.
Change the entire...
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all. That's why if the outcome of the 41 would impact the generality of the result, you order a rerun.
Okay.
Limited to the areas where the infractions took place, not the entire constituency. How does that even come about? And so if you get decisions like this, why is it surprising when responses in the nature that the minority leader delivered come? It's to anybody.
You endorse the response?
Certainly. Because you see, Samson, we've heard people speak in this country. We've heard the kinds of things that people have said. We've heard the statements relative to a certain reset of the judiciary started. And so if you have a judge who is determining a particular matter based on the facts and evidence before him, goes beyond and invalidates the entire result of the constituency, you have cause to question what motive that the judge has other than law to make those statements. So certainly, I endorse the statement a majority leader made. Okay, and the danger.
The judge did the bidding of the paymasters.
The danger that decisions like this potentially has on our democracy. So what the judge effectively is saying that in future elections, all you have to do is to create chaos in 2, 3, 4, 10 polling stations, and that will be ground for invalidating the result of the entire constituency.
That's a high court. That decision is not binding on all courts.
I don't have a problem, but that's.
I get the analogy.
Of course, election petitions are matters that are subject to high court jurisdiction. So is that what the court is saying? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and we should not allow the judiciary to be weakened to the point where you will get comments like this coming from affected persons. If you say you are resetting the judiciary, people who called the Supreme Court unanimous FC because they themselves had submitted a petition that was completely baseless and empty. And because of that, the Supreme Court did not agree with them. They called them all sorts of names. They are offended. Say it again.
This is a tit for tat.
What is it for that?
Because they talked that way.
I'm saying that the people who have used much more derogatory words against the court are today offended by people who are unhappy with a certain decision of the court and are drawing attention of the court.
Do you recall the comments that got Dominic Ayene, Dr. Basit, Abdul Basit Bamba, and so on, for punishment? And even, the Supreme Court had to, as it were, tamper justice with
Yes, I do.
They were not this,
They were not like this.
Well, but of course, that was during the pendency of the matter before the court. The court has delivered this decision, okay, and the minority is entitled to criticize it. And if the outcome is suggestive of something other than law, how else do you want them to conclude?
That's not an objective view.
What would be an objective view then?
I'll bring what's the name? I'll bring Inus of Seni on shortly. But as I mentioned earlier, and then we'll come to Susan, I want her to hear from the lawyers first. And I have a couple of questions for Inus of Seni as a lawyer. The conduct that his side, the NDC side, put up in Parliament. So in 2020, Daniel, who has gone to court now, won with 52.11% of the votes, and then Matthew Yindam lost. He had 47.55%, and then in 2024, Matthew flipped the chart. He had 53.31%. And then Daniel had 46.69%, and that is where he's unhappy and has gone to the court. We'll be right back.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Dream. And so, Charlie, the deal there, I almost get her.
Syntax pipe, as tough as it can get.
You get so sorry with your back, sorry. Oh, what are you? Was that thing? What the cat never won? Hey! No, I'm back.
Between a pie and carbon.
Hey, madam, pie menu.
A Syntax pipe. Metono, Omukacham send a word pa. Say a fee, say a foam. The other pipe we be a yen gum.
Syntax pipe.
Why a leaky?
Come, madam. From today, Syntax pipe in my pipe. No two ways.
When you know, pipe banner be used.
SINTEX pipe.
Tintas pipe. No wahala.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernat Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernat, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernat Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966 085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernat.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or being late?
Of course.
You go be the luckiest. Go be from Georgia, be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up, boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no check me way. Yeah, man.
Easy cry. Or dial *712#.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
How much birthday?
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt, yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
*712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, maybe release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
There is something extraordinary happening. Something you won't want to miss.
A treasure that has been kept under wraps until now.
The wait is almost over.
Get ready to experience the unforgettable.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
Studying biomedical engineering has opened my mind to a world of innovation. As a parent, seeing my daughter thrive at ACT gives me peace of mind.
ACT didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
Go to Yunus of Seni. This decision and the posture of the minority in the majority in the House, what do you say?
Should be on his way to the General Legal Council.
Say that again. Say that again.
I said he should be on his way to the General Legal Council. Not because he's a minority leader, but because he's a lawyer. And he scandalized himself and his profession.
What if he has facts? What he has facts about the judge being paid?
So he goes there to show the facts. The facts will be his defense. He goes there to produce the facts as defense. But he can't scandalize the courts in the way he has done. As a lawyer, he can't do that. And he's a lawyer. So that's what you should understand. And secondly, I'm scandalized by the arguments of Ajapa Mensah. He's a lawyer. And that is the court of first instance, for God's sake. The decision is a court of first instance. And in an election petition, the decision ends at the Court of Appeal. And Martin Yindang has told everybody in Ghana that he's appealed against the decision. He's appealed the decision to the Court of Appeal. So why can't you wait and argue your case in the Court of Appeal? And he seems to have lost what happened in our recent history. How can you sit on TV and say that you can go to court and ask, and the court will give you what you have not asked for, and that will never happen? It happened. Afenyomakan went to court for an interim injunction to restrain the speaker from declaring the seat vacant. He was given a perpetual injunction. He was given a perpetual injunction. What are you saying, Ajapa Mensah?
What did you say? Did you say that was allowed? That was okay?
Was it not? What I'm saying that he didn't ask for it. Even Afenyomakan did not ask for a perpetual injunction.
Exactly. So you faulted the court for that, did you not?
I'm saying that he went to court to ask for an interim injunction. That's the argument. And he was given what he did not ask for.
And my question is, what did the NDC say? That judgment was procured by...
The proposition that you can go to court. The proposition that you can go to court and be given what you have not asked for, it cannot happen.
But is it not curious? Is it not curious that you have a petitioner who goes to court?
But I wrote it down.
Over 41 polling stations. As I understand, the 41 polling stations will give you a total of about 500 votes or so. I don't know if I get my figures correct about that. You would know. And the difference in the win between him and Yindam will be about 1,600. So if you faulted the 500, votes, it doesn't do anything. How do you go to nullify the whole results? That's the question.
So again, Samson, we must await the decision of the court, the written judgment of the court. But I worked in Kpandai. I worked in Kpandai before the elections and on the election day. And the collation center, which had been gazetted, was moved without notice to the petitioner, the party who petitioned in court. So you have to understand, you have to read the whole judgment to understand the thinking. But be it as it may, what I'm saying is that as lawyers, we know that the High Court's decision is a decision of a court of first instance. And an election petition doesn't end at the High Court. It ends at the Court of Appeal. And there are many cases, and in the Dr. Yakubu's case that they cited, I was involved in that case. The court used a mathematical formula to arrive at a decision that Dr. Yakubu was not validly elected as MP. The Court of Appeal reversed the decision and condemned the decision of the High Court. So you cannot run ahead of the total, determination of the matter. And that is why Speaker Bagman, keenly aware that the Court of Appeal, the High Court, is not the final court in an election petition, said Yindam cannot lose his seat until the Court of Appeal listens.
No, that's not what Bagwin has said. Bagwin has said that the attempt to prevent Yindam from being in the House without waiting for the statutory 7 days of stay after a judgment is wrong.
But to be fair,
that's what Bagwin said.
Speaker
that's
added
what Bagwin
that,
said.
Yes, he added, if you may, he added that the filing of the motion for stay pursuant to the appeal could extend that 7-day statutory.
But it's
yes, he said so. I was listening to him.
Samson, but Samson, you know that even if a decision of a court is given statutorily and by practice and convention of the judiciary and of lawyers, we do not execute the judgment until after the expiration of 7 days.
Yes,
we know that, and we do that for good reason. Secondly, he's filed a stay of execution. Yes, the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have said that a stay of execution does not operate as a stay of the execution of the judgment. So the High Court, or in fact, you have to file it in the High Court.
Okay.
The High Court will have to pronounce on it.
All right.
Then we know that the final court in an election petition is a Court of Appeal. So why will we run ahead of time?
Right.
So we can't criticize the decision of the High Court.
Thank you. But you will agree that what the minority sought to do in Parliament was wrong. The very day the judgment is given, you are saying the man should not sit in the House, when by law there is automatic stay of the judgment for 7 days.
That's theatrics. That's Parliament. That's theatrics. But because the one who was saying so is also a lawyer, and he knows it. So that's theatrics.
But lawyers can get it wrong. Thank you very much. Yes, Susan.
But Samson, you should know that, I mean, if you are in Parliament and there is a decision annulling your elections, you will take steps to ensure that you vindicate your position and your election. And so Nyinda will try to take steps to vindicate the position that he was validly elected.
Okay.
And
thank you. Let's give Susan the opportunity to also say something.
Yes. Good thing I'm not a lawyer, so I don't have long talk to do.
Exactly.
But I think that, like they have said, the speaker was on the right path. But 1st December will come and it will elapse, and so Honorable Yindam needs to prepare for a by-election.
He has filed an appeal and coupled that with a stay of execution. But the stay of execution, once it's served, it acts like you can't do anything until that has been determined by the Court of Appeal, by the High Court, and perhaps also by the
So maybe
Court
we'll do it as quickly as we've done. I mean, in the past, we had electoral issues that took 4 years, and, to Rebecca, whatever, had to have a name expunged. Now it's taking 11 months. Maybe this will take, even shorter, and it will go through. I think that our leaders need to watch their language and their posture. I think that the language of the minority leader was terrible, and that is not the way we want to see our leaders behave. You said he was under pressure, maybe coming from the issues in terms of the ECOWAS court, but it shows your true nature. Look, I mean, if you are an orange and you are squeezed, you get orange juice out. You understand? And so if for a leader, you cannot stand pressure, and this is the kind of language that you do because you are under pressure from other people, it doesn't speak well of our leaders and of leadership. And I think that is not the time for leaders to do these kind of things. I mean, it
Susan.
Definitely is not leadership
thank you, Susan.
Material to be doing that.
Ken says, my concern is a lambasting the whole judiciary for the sins of a single judge, if this is even true. Do not let anybody use a single court interchangeably with the judiciary. And a lawyer on the panel supports this. Bobo.
I agree with him.
My outfit, as always, is by Habil Scruter. Check on their socials. and you find them. You can call them 0200 84 1988, 0200 84 1988, Habil's Couture. That's where you get the best of kaftans. Now, kaftans. And the Republic Bank Love FM Habitat Fair is ongoing, and today is the third day. It continues until tomorrow, and it's at the Kumasi City Mall. The Lands Commission is there. They will do your documentations for you. ECG is there. They will give you a meter or help you with your billing issues. And then the Republic Bank is there to help you with finance. If it's a mortgage you need, they will sort you out. Of course, DBS Industries is also there, and they are giving you free installation. You won't pay anything, absolutely free. Just buy the roofing sheets. I'm Samson Ladianyanine. This has been Newsfile. Have a good afternoon. Thank you all to my guests.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. Where Duraplas goes, water flows.
DBS Industries has introduced a new roofing system known as ColorLink Plus.
Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Syntax tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
Cherry Tree Properties.
So, Charlie, the deal there, I almost get her.
Syntax pipe, as tough as it can get.
You get so sorry with your back, sorry. Oh, what you was up in what the cat never won. We can catch him. Hey! Now I'm back.
Between the Kapai and Cabo.
Hey, madam, pipe menu.
I have Syntax pipe. Metono, Omukacham send a one pa. Say a fee, say a foam. The pipe we be a yannick dumb.
Syntax pipe.
Why, Eliki?
Come, madam. From today, Syntax pipe in my pipe. No two ways.
When you know, pipe Ben Abe Yusu.
SINTEX pipe.
Syntax pipe.
In a carry water. No, hala.
Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation